I dislike Gavin Newsom. That's putting it like. I've actually called him, see if he'd come on the show. I've known him a long time. He won't. Gavin Newsom is another radical leftist with a very, I don't know, face you just want to smack, if you know what I mean. And I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the same way. Don't call me violent. I'm not going to smack him, but I'd like to. All this man does, he's a freaking used car salesman. All he does is lie. When things are good, he says things are going great for his state. When his state is on fire, he acts like everything is just fine. Here he is talking to Circleback Jen Psaki, somehow still lying through his teeth about those California wildfires and their preparation. Listen.
What's not, I think, helpful or beneficial is this string of consciousness, these wild-eyed fantasies that somehow the state water project, we have reservoirs that are at or near historic highs, full, completely full, that somehow there's a magical spigot in California, in Northern California, that just can be turned on and all of a sudden there will be rain or water flowing everywhere. It's not helpful. It's damaging to the very foundation of the notion of what are facts, what are truths. And the fact of that asymmetry, that's profound and consequential, amplified by people like, let's be candid, Elon Musk and others. And that 1-2 punch is real. And it's not just about this fire. I mean, that's where hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation that can divide a country on a myriad of issues. This is serious.
That was a hurricane force winds of misinformation. That was like a very Kamala-esque word salad rant, wasn't it? Just with a few more SAT words sprinkled in. Okay, Gavin, since you think everyone's out to get you and everyone else is lying except for you, let's just do this the easy way. Attached to that very soundbite on Twitter, on X, readers added context. A little fact check was provided for the misinformation king himself. Now we're going to show it on the screen, folks, for those of you listening, and I'm quoting, and at the bottom of tweets or X's or posts, when they're lies, it's called community notes. Community notes actually do the fact checking for the X network. It's what Meta is going to start to do as well on Facebook and Instagram. They're going to start to community note rather than have their own idiotic censors pulling stuff down. So the community notes under that soundbite is saying, quoting, the reservoir near the Palisades fire, the massive fire, which is where it really started. Well, the reservoir near that Palisades fire was in fact shut down and empty. This is fact. So who's the liar now, Gavin? Your state is still on fire, yet you're talking and you're taking shameless mainstream interviews to try and make yourself look like some sort of knight in shining armor. How about you lift a single damn finger to make people's lives just a little bit better? How about you man up and say, we made mistakes and we'll fix them? I'm just about giving up on anything Gavin Newsom does from that governor's office. So how about you take off the suit? I don't know. Use a little less hair gel, throw on a jacket. Don't clip it like David Muir did with a clothespin to make you look svelte. Throw on a jacket, grab a damn hose. We're sick of these arrogant loser politicians. And I don't even live in California. I don't even like California. I don't want to dwell on Newsom any longer because he truly is lost cause. Chris Cuomo over at News Nation, I know it's Cuomo. I know, a liberal as long, but he's over at News Nation. He's trying to move to the center, and he may be starting to sound like he's making some sense. Listen to Chris Cuomo's take on Pete Hegseth and the hypocrisy, the sheer hypocrisy of the Democrat Party from yesterday's hearing.
So because of his marriage, he can't be trusted with the oath of office. 2 points of disgust. How many people on that committee, how many in Congress could pass the Cain test that you can't honor an oath to serve if you've ever been unfaithful? Cain may be sitting in that room alone. Who cares when we are talking about being the top warrior, not our pastor? I'll tell you who agreed with me once about this. Tim Kaine. He supported Bill Clinton for president. He didn't say he couldn't serve, despite all he knew about his peccadillos. He still backed him. Why? Is president not as important an oath? So what changed? You know, a bipartisan National Security Commission found we are not ready for war with China or Russia. Did you know that?
Way to go, Cuomo. Way to go. About time. Meek and Joe maybe take a lesson from Chris Cuomo. By the way, what's a picadillo or a peccadillo? I have no idea what that is. Hit me up on social media. Hit me up at the bottom. Put a comment on me. Let me know what a picadillo is. But this was never, this whole charade yesterday was never about Pete Hegseth personally. The hysteria was about, I don't know, Trump. Everything Trump has picked, everything Trump wants to do. Democrats losing so badly, they're trying to push back and desperately needing to shift the focus. Hegseth was attacked from across the aisle by a pack of liberal hypocrites who got crushed in the last election and are simply looking for a way to cause chaos before the inauguration. This party, that party on the left, is broken and desperate beyond belief. It's amazing to think that 93 senators voted to confirm Biden's Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. We're showing a picture of Lloyd Austin wearing not only a mask, but a plastic thing over his head, almost like a helmet from COVID or worried about COVID. Someone who left his office without notice, by the way. One of the worst, probably the worst thing he did. Now, Afghanistan pullout was bad for Lloyd Austin, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. It was bad. But when Lloyd Austin left his post as the Secretary of Defense and didn't tell anyone, in fact, told his subordinate, don't tell anyone I'm going to the hospital. He put the whole country at risk, not just his job, not just his family's income. He put America at risk by doing that. And that's why Lloyd Austin could be the worst Secretary of Defense in our history. And on the horrible Afghanistan withdrawal where 13 servicemen and women died. But it embarrassed the hell out of America whenever he showed his face or opened his mouth, Lloyd Austin did. So again, tell me what this is really about. Do Democrats have a problem with Pete Hegseth, or are they simply looking for a way to throw a wrench into Trump's plans? It's the latter. As if social and natural disasters that Joe Biden has ignored aren't enough. When was the last time anyone talked about inflation? Was that something we all just kind of gave up on? It's been so high for so long. Has everyone just kind of gotten used to paying more for stuff? With the Biden presidency from hell finally set to expire, CNN gave us some of old Joe's final statistics, a scoreboard, so to speak. Let's take a listen.
Start with the bad news, 2.9%. That's the annual inflation rate. This was hotter than expected. It's the third straight month where this number has gone up, further away from that 2% goal. And this is the highest since July. Also, the monthly number was a little bit hotter than expected. When we look at the trend.
Fine. Yeah, here they are. Now they're finally saying it. Finally, they recognize 9.5% inflation for, a year and a half ago for the better part of 2022 was insane. And by the way, 2.5% or 3% inflation is already on top of 9% from before. It's not lower than it was before. It's just less added to the 9%. Notice how all the BS economic messaging ended after Kamala's horrible election embarrassment. Seems like the White House gave up as well. As bad as those numbers may seem, the real statistics are far worse. Prices are up almost 21% across the board since Joe Biden took office. They were here when he took office. They're here now. They spiked up. They slowed down the spike, but they continue to rise. So the BS about Joe bringing inflation down is a lie. They think we're all simply getting used to living with it. We've grown accustomed to paying more for basically everything, $8, $10 for a dozen eggs in America. We've gotten used to being silenced, to being censored, and being mocked for being conservatives. We had been. That's all changing. We've come to terms with an unsafe country, overrun by illegals, and facing international threats every single day. This is no way to live. And not the America that Joe Biden inherited either. This all happened under Joe Biden. In 5 short days, we can all begin to rediscover what made the country great. Hopefully, we will soon be reacquainted with the quality of life that American people once knew and loved. Make America great again.